Hi guys, this is Mark Davis at Optimum Technology Transfer. Welcome to you all. In this video I'm going to take a further look at using the SUMIFS function in Microsoft Excel to create something a little bit more complex than I have created in previous recent videos, where I've concentrated on the SUMIF function. Done some work with the SUMIFS function to take the SUMIF function a little bit further across using multiple criteria ranges and multiple criteria using SUMIFS, for example. So you may remember something along these lines. Yeah, there's an example, a typical classic example of using the SUMIFS function. Yeah, and what I'm doing here is using multiple criteria. So which particular category of product, which particular quarter, and which particular type of sale is it? Is it an online sale or a retail sale? So I can kind of compare and contrast. Yeah. I then use the SUMIFS function across multiple sheets, so ending up with something like this. The problem with doing something like this is I can't copy across and down. I've had to create, I could do a little bit of copying of the formula itself and make changes to the quarter sheet reference here, for example. Well, what I would like to do is I'd like to have the opportunity, be able to copy across and down through. Let me just unhide these columns here. Copy across and down through. I can't do that. Just imagine if that data didn't exist, and couldn't I? I've created my formula. Couldn't I? Clearly I can't, because if I think about this, yeah, there's something going on in my cell referencing. I want to get around that problem, and that is the purpose of this particular video, to get around that problem by creating something like this. A bit more complex again, using the SUMIFS function, yes, but nested inside. Don't know whether you guys have had a look at the INDIRECT function. We'll look at that in a little bit of detail as well, and there's some concatenation going on there as well, so that I am then able to just imagine this data didn't exist. This data didn't exist. I've got my first formula. I can highlight across and down. I can F2, and I can control return or enter. Works perfectly. So I want to do all of that here. I've got some columns hidden away. I think it's really rather useful when you're looking to do something quite a bit more complex as this perhaps, is to break the problem down into separate steps, and that's what I'm doing with this little step-by-step demo that I've created here. So check it out, have a look at this, because this is all the stuff that we need to kind of be very aware of in the creation of a formula like this. There's a simple sum function. I'm sure you're all very, very familiar with something like that. There's a sum function, but more complex in a sense, because it's a totally separate sheet. And what's really important is the syntax. Apostrophes, which I'm sure you've seen before. Exclamation mark, which I'm sure you've seen before as well. So what I've then done to demonstrate some further ideas is to say, okay, this particular string here, yeah, that represents the sheet. This particular string or label here, piece of text effectively, that represents the range of cells that I want to refer to. What I've then done here is to use concatenation to join those two strings together. Unfortunately, I don't get the full syntax because I still do not have the apostrophes in the exclamation mark. So I've done exactly that there. There is my first apostrophe enclosed in quotes. There is my second apostrophe and an exclamation mark enclosed in quotes, so I get the syntax that I require. So that syntax of that string here matches exactly that. I'm not concerned at all about the case. Yeah. So I then said, all right, could I sum up that? Well, I can't. It doesn't make sense. I can't sum up that string. Well, I can. I don't get an appropriate answer. So I can't directly refer to I-14, but I can indirectly refer to whatever's in I-14. So whatever's in I-14 is a pointer to where I want to go. And that's what the indirect function does. It says, oh, look at that, point me in the right direction, sum up that range of cells for me, please, in that particular worksheet. Yeah? So syntax, concatenation, indirect, getting those elements all right, all correct. Okay, so we then bring those steps into one here. I would again maybe do a sum first of all before you get into your SUMIFS, just to make sure things are going according to plan. I want my apostrophe, ampersand. I've actually gone also here, guys. I've got a sheet prefix. That's standard across the sheets. I'll make it absolute with an F4. I will then ampersand to continue. I want the quarterly 1 label, the QTR1 label. I'll be copying across, so I need to use a mixed cell reference in here in this particular case. So think about exactly what it needs to be. I talked about this on previous videos as well. The column letter is relative, but the row number is absolute, because I'm going to be copying across and down through the rest of that range in a little while. Continuing with my syntax, ampersand, quote, apostrophe, exclamation mark, quote, ampersand once again. In my particular case, for my demo data here, the range of cells that I'd like to refer to is in N2 colon N694. Close off my brackets. That looks okay. Is the syntax okay? I'll return or enter. It's a value. What is going wrong? What is wrong with that particular? Well, it's almost certainly a syntactical thing. So have a look at it. Have a look at it in a bit of detail. I'm summing up directly. Yeah, that particular worksheet, that particular sheet prefix, that particular label, ampersand, 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 ampersand. It all looks absolutely fine, as far as I can tell, but of course very, very clearly in this particular case here, typical Excel error, it says hash value. Yeah, so why does it say hash value? Well, of course, what I need to do, as we saw, I can't directly refer and sum that up. I can't directly refer to that and sum it up. This is where my indirect comes in. Perfect. Just got Excel, that's why I had that error message, of course. Just got Excel to correct it for me. So far so good, building it up. And then I say, okay, take it a bit further. Ultimately, I want SUMIFS, because I want multiple criteria ranges, and I want multiple criteria. So, that is the range of cells I'd like to sum up. Check it out, there's the argument there. What's criteria range 1 going to be? Well, it's pretty much an exact copy of that, so I can do a little bit of a cheat. I'm going to comma. Having copied to the clipboard, I will paste. The only change is, in this particular case, again for my example, I'm going a couple of columns across to the right. And what is the criteria range, or rather the criteria 1 going to be? That's where the categories of product are. Again, a mixed cell reference. Absolute letter, relative row, comma. My string should be on the clipboard still, that indirection, Control V. Bit of a difference once again. What I need to do is it's column letter D, because that's effectively where the type of sale is. Comma. M5, that's where the retail label is. F4 to make it absolute. Press return or enter. So that is the total sales. Yeah, for retail sales across the 4 quarters. It's only quarter 1 at the moment for that particular product. Can I copy it down through? This is the big test, isn't it, of course. Can I copy it across? Again, a test, of course. What, of course, I could have done, let me Control Z a couple of times. Once you've got your top left, Shift arrow key to the right, Shift arrow key down, or, of course, click and drag and highlight. Press F2. You're in edit mode. You want to now complete that range of cells with that formula copied across and down. Control return or Control and enter. And that is, let me just change back to 100% view, Control home. I'm going to hide away these test columns that I've got here. hide them away. I can now compare and contrast my online sales with my retail sales for each of the categories of product against each of the quarters. And we zoom back in once again and look at once again our final kind of formula. And we have 2 on that. And I'm actually going to leave that on screen for you guys. That's it from me, Mark Davis, at Optimum Technology Transfer. And do check out various other videos of mine here on YouTube. Search Optimum Technology Transfer and you'll find a heap of other videos that I've created and uploaded here. As I say, I'll leave that with you. SUMIFS, indirect, concatenation, 3 wonderful Excel elements that I've brought together to return the data that I require. Take care and bye-bye.